Obviously, really excited for our basketball program and the young women that play the game and our entire staff. I thought our team was really resilient tonight. We got off to a little bit of a slow start, and we expected that. We expected them to come out and punch us, and they did. But I thought our team had a real calmness about them. I thought our upperclassmen, Imani, Empress, Brady, Kelsey, all of the older players, Selena, really stayed very calm for our team. And then I thought Brooke obviously was terrific in a lot of areas, but just really, really proud of our team.
Questions for the student athletes. Vern, name and affiliation to begin, please.
Hi, Vern Glenn, CBS 5, San Francisco. Brooke, safe to say tonight, youth was served. You play, I mean, you're a freshman, but you certainly didn't play like it.
Well, thank you. I just had to go out there and be a spark for our team and keep us together and do what I needed to do.
Michelle.
Michelle Smith, ESPNW. Imani, will you talk about what was going on inside? I mean, you guys got Rashonda in foul trouble quickly, and you guys on the offensive end seemed to be doing, between you and Kelsey, you seemed to be getting the points when you needed to get them. Can you just talk about the game in the paint tonight?
The game plan was just to make their post players play defense the entire possession and, if possible, get them in foul trouble because they're really good on the offensive end, and we wanted to basically put our best foot forward. Kelsey did a great job of rebounding my misses and staying engaged and finishing her shots, and I was just trying to shoot when I had an opportunity to and post strong.
Rick.
Rick Cantu, the Austin American Statesman. Imani, you've been there 3 years now, and it was tough 3 years ago. Can you put into words what going to the Sweet 16 means to this program after 11 years of not being there?
Before we played today, Sean, our strength coach, he was just like, make your legacy. Like, this is how we start our legacy. We were able to do something that hasn't been done in over a decade. And it just goes to show how strong our staff is, how great they all are, and how we've been preparing and working hard, and that eventually, you know, hard work pays off.
Janie.
Hi, Janie McCauley from Associated Press. Brooke and Imani, you were able to jump in the passing lanes and really create havoc, you know, force them into some turnovers and bad decisions. How much did that sort of set the tone for the game, and also how you came out of halftime with that big run?
I think defense is something we've been trying to focus on, and we try to make it our identity. So the first half, we gave up a lot of we had bad decisions on offense and had some turnovers, and we gave up a lot of easy looks on offense. So we just tried to focus on what makes us us in the second half. In that first, 4-minute game, we came out and tried to play Texas defense.
I feel like the team, we went back to what we learned on Scout and what our coaches told us, and we trusted them when we went out there, and we made effort to go and do what they said on Scout, and so that really helped us.
Vern Glenn again, CBS 5, San Francisco. Brooke, defensively, especially in that run at the beginning of the second half, it was referenced by Michelle that, I mean, you were in the passing lanes, you were creating the turnovers. There were 8 turnovers by Cal during that run that you were making. Were there any tells? Were there anything you could see that you could anticipate, or was that just shut down Texas defense?
Well, I think we all just played our man how we needed to, and we were helping each other on defense. And so I tried to help anybody that I could, and the team helped me when my man would drive. And so I feel like all of us coming together and helping each other on defense really helped us get the deflections and the steals.
Michelle.
Imani, for those of us that haven't seen you guys a ton, you and Kelsey playing together that much, is this as much as you guys have been together on the floor in terms of minutes and times you guys spent together on the floor this season?
No, after NECA went down, we kind of all had to readjust our roles. Before, we weren't really playing together a lot, but we just kind of had to everybody kind of had to step up, and we've been playing together a little bit here and there. It kind of just all depends on matchup. Like, you never really know who could start for us. That's the beauty of us right now. We are very deep, and whoever we need to match up with, we can.
Cheryl.
Cheryl Coward, hoopfeed.com. For both of you, after that 12-0 run, and then Cal had a little bit of momentum back and forth with you guys didn't look winded at all. Did you sense that they may have been tired, or that you had gotten into their heads at that point, and that you could write it out?
I think we were just trying to keep pushing, and again, like, our depth plays a big role in that. Like, a lot of times I would come in for 2 minutes and then someone else would replace me for 2 minutes. We were just trying to make sure if you needed a sub, you called for it, but we kept going at them and giving 100% effort as long as we could.
We knew it would be an ugly game playing against them on their home court, and so we just knew that we had to keep pushing, and we knew that they would keep pushing and they wouldn't give up. So at the end, we just had to keep pushing.
Brooke, you had a right here.
Sorry.
Brooke, you had a tough time in Dallas in the Big 12 tournament and didn't even start these 2 games, but you look like you had nerves of steel in the last 2 games. What changed?
I think that I just had to start going out there and playing. I was really nervous at first, and I think that I just had to get over my nerves. And my teammates have really helped me, and they believed in me. And so them believing in me and my coaching staff believing in me, it's really helped me out.
Janie?
Imani, would you speak a little bit to what Brooke showed you in these 2 games and just how far you've come since losing some key players, to injuries, and how these players have stepped up?
I think everyone's placing a lot of emphasis on the fact that she's a freshman, but she hasn't shown me anything we didn't already know. We've all placed a lot of trust in our freshmen and tried to build an atmosphere where if you're ready and able to play and give your all, then you do it. So we trust in her, and we feel confident with her having her balls in the end at the end of the game, especially the same way we feel about our senior point guard and our junior point guard. We know that we all are prepared and we all can do it. So whoever takes a shot, takes a shot.
Vern?
Imani, back here, I can't wait to hear what Karen says about this. But since you're here, here's a Cal team that averages 5 made 3 points a game. Tonight they made 11. What were you thinking when Jeff Lowe just kept launching them? She had 6 tonight to kind of keep them in the neighborhood.
I think it's tournament time. Everyone wants to win, and she was just doing all she could to keep her team in the game. So great for her. She did a great job, and she helped her team hang on. And we tried to make sure we shut that down towards the end, but she's a great player, and she hit some big shots.
Anything further for the student athletes? Imani, Brooke, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I will take questions for Coach up front here.
Richie Lee, Daily Californian. Cal only had 18 points in the paint, but they took 25 3-pointers. Was that something you were willing to let them have, 3-pointers, rather than letting them beat you inside?
Well, it obviously just about backfired on us, but that definitely was the plan, to play gap defense and make sure that we were in a helping position at all times. We thought that our help was absolutely critical to winning this basketball game, and the team really stuck with the game plan. And you can sort of panic sometimes when people start doing things that you didn't think they could do as much, but I thought that we stayed with it enough to win the game. And then at the end, obviously they started making a few that we didn't anticipate. So we made some changes toward the end, and the shots they hit at the end were tough. I mean, they were against. We were actually trying to guard them at that point, but it was a bit of a game plan to give up something so that we could protect the paint.
Michelle?
Karen, what's the significance of what Imani did for you guys this weekend? Does it open up some possibilities for you that she performs at this level over the stretch of 2 games?
Absolutely. I can't say enough about how she has performed, even going back to the Big 12 tournament. I thought that I had seen a different look in her eyes a week or 2 ago, that she was feeling better about herself, her conditioning level was back to par, and her confidence level was high. And then she played really well in the Big 12 tournament. Not great in the championship game, but you could see I don't want to say the light coming on, because that's not really the case. She just, confidence was higher. And then the week in between Big 12 and this tournament, she just had a different look. So if Imani starts consistently playing the way that she's playing, our team has a load of potential, because, I mean, she impacts the game remarkably.
Vern?
Coach, as a head coach, you're supposed to have these nerves of steel, but I'm just wondering what your I guess nerves were like playing on Cal's home floor and then expecting them to hit 3-pointers, and they hit their first 3 of the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, we just didn't want to panic, because there was a game plan to it. I mean, I think they penetrate really well, and obviously Rashonda Gray is terrific. So we wanted to try to take the paint away from them, and that they did hit some early shots, but we tried to get them to stay within the game plan and sort of trust what we were trying to get accomplished. And I do think that part of that was taking away their transition, which was, to me, the biggest part of the game, was not letting them have so many transition points, because they're really good in transition. So I thought that we hung in there with it. They made a lot of key shots, but I thought we were consistent enough with the game plan that it panned out for us.
Rick?
Karen, third season, Sweet 16. Can you talk about the significance of being there as quickly as you got them there?
Well, Rick, I mean, we've talked all year long about how the team made such significant progress last year to get from where we were the first year to where we ended last year, having a chance to beat Maryland on their home court. And then going into this year, I thought that we had a chance to make more progress. And obviously in the middle of the year, that got marred a little bit with the injuries. But I just can't say enough about the players and our staff, because there was a point in time a month or so ago where I don't think anybody saw this coming at all. They thought we were done. And you just kind of have to figure out whether people are going to get in the foxhole with you. And I really can't say enough about our staff, from the trainers to the strength coach to the managers to our players, that were willing to do whatever they had to do for us to get to a better spot. And it was hard, and we're not where we want to be, obviously, but we're making progress.
Yeah.
Viet Winbury Insider. Back to the start of the second half.
Mm-hmm.
So was that just a continuation of you keeping with your game plan, or was something different implemented on your end, or was it something different that Cal was doing that created that run for you guys?
We did not change anything about our game plan at halftime defensively, other than trust it. Don't get away from it. They make a few shots. Don't panic, because we really wanted, again, to try to take the paint, and we emphasized at halftime, just don't give up anything in transition. I think the biggest thing for us was the points that they scored in transition in the first half were off of turnovers. So the conversation at halftime was try not to turn it over, because if we can just get a shot off, then it makes them a half-court team, and we thought our half-court defense was responding pretty well.
Janie?
Karen, did you envision that you could create that much havoc in terms of forcing them into so many mistakes and miscues? And
Not really. I didn't, and I probably anticipated them missing shots. I thought that our defense would force them to take some shots that maybe they were uncomfortable with, and we ended up maybe making them think a little bit about what was open, because, I mean, I don't really know that, but maybe just the fact that we had such a presence and help maybe forced them to make some passes that weren't there.
may I ask one quick follow-up?
Sure.
I mean, looking at the bracket, we can't help but really see who's probably next for you to maybe play UConn and meet them. What's your initial take?
I think we're just excited to go to the Sweet 16. Obviously, we'll get to that point when we see who wins that game tomorrow. But our team is so excited right now, and deservedly so, that I need to let them enjoy that and get back to Austin. We start class tomorrow, so I'll let them get to class, and then we'll regroup on Monday. They're really excited, and I'm happy for them.
Michelle?
Karen, in the aggregate, you guys are forcing a ton of turnovers. You're dominating in the paint, and it's still really, really tight down to the end.
Right.
What do you attribute that to?
That it got tight?
That it stayed tight.
They're shooting. I mean, we just couldn't get away from them because we would go down. And I also think that our help, because they made some shots, we sort of started spacing out differently defensively. Then we started fouling, which I thought really was what kept them in the game. That we had a stretch where we fouled 4 times straight down there, I think, when I thought we could have separated ourselves, and we kind of allowed them to stay in the game by fouling. I think we had just talked about that we only had 4 team fouls, and all of a sudden they're in the bonus. So we got stretched out a little bit by their shooting, which gave them some driving lanes.
Cheryl?
This past weekend, you talked about, you know, the post players, you know, and what a battle it was going to be, and how you had to have a team effort to shut down Rashonda Gray, which you did. I mean, looking at her stats, I mean, she came into this game, you know, averaging 17 points a game,
Right.
and you limited her to under 10. So, were you expecting your plan to be that effective, especially playing Imani and Kelsey at the same time and switching them in and out?
Well, it's, again, I think Imani spoke to the fact that it's sometimes difficult to play those two together because of matchup issues. It wasn't in league play. But their size lended that opportunity today, so we took advantage of it. I do think that they play really well together. So I like playing them, and at times it enabled us to do that. I thought that there was potential for the game plan to work if they would follow it. What was so encouraging about the team tonight was that they were a team. And it's the one thing that down this stretch that we had after all the injuries that they've sometimes had trouble figuring out was that they just couldn't win if they weren't a team. This particular group of kids, they have to be a team because it helps that Imani's playing at the high level that she is right now, but they are so much better when they play with energy and they play like a team. And tonight was a reflection of that.
Last question.
Yeah, Morris Phillips from Full Court. Coach, we gotta come back to Brooke one more time.
Yeah.
She, you know, we've seen Brittany, those of us that have seen her over her career, just, you know, destroy smaller guards, and she really held up tonight, you know, with Brittany. And it just freed up everything for you guys. And we had Lindsay just come in here and explain to us that if you guys are going to play Kelsey and Imani together, as much as you did, they needed to disrupt your guards, and they held up. They just held up, and that was, you know, for Cal, the difference.
Brooke was terrific in these first two games, and I think they alluded to the fact that she struggled a little bit in the Big 12 tournament, and I think that was, she said it was nerves. I'm not sure it wasn't just the little freshman wall that they hit sometimes, like, gosh, I'm tired. But nothing that Brooke does surprises me. I mean, we watched her play in high school, and she has a knack for making plays, and she really understands time and, you know, what's important in the game. And the other part about the matchup is that I don't know that anything would intimidate her, first of all, because of her personality, but second of all, because of the guards that she's guarded in the Big 12. I mean, she had it handed to her early in Big 12 season. So when you play in a conference like that with the guards that we had in our league, I mean, Brittany is an unbelievable player, but there are a lot of guards that she's seen that are similar to that.